Alright, so we start off where we left off with Jinx's missile landing. Jace wakes up and after seeing that Mel's okay, looks around the room and somehow everyone besides those two got packed up and a couple of them are injured. Mel is the biggest mystery to me. Her ass should have been the first one to go. She was right there. Later after the attack, all the counselors or what's left of them meet up and Caitlyn is here as well since her mom ended up being a victim of the attack. Salo came in on the wheelchair and he was on straight time. He wanted to wipe out the entire Undercity with enforcers, Hex Tech included. Caitlyn was like, hey no, that's not right, which is funny as hell considering what she's about to do later, but hey, she gets outvoted 2-1. But my glorious dark-skinned queen Mel comes up with the compromise not to use Hex Tech because that would be OD, so the movement is passed. Back at the Kierman estate, Caitlyn is reading some letters when her father comes in and gives her a key. But not just any key, the Kierman key, the one passed down from generation to generation. This was funny as hell. Her dad says Vi was in his estate and was immediately appalled. All that hatred in his eyes. Vi and Kay have this sweet little moment and then Vi explains that she wants to take on Jinx alone. Yeah, funny. And then Caitlyn does something crazy. She says, hey, you want to help? Join the enforcers. And I don't even need to explain why this is insane. This is like asking LeBron to join the Celtics, King Von to join 63rd. They gunned down her entire family and put her in prison for years. Of course she's not gonna join. Meanwhile, Jace, who was trying to save Viktor's life by using the Hex Core, is now sitting in a room with Viktor, who is completely absorbed by the Hex Core. Bro survived 2 near-death events and now is questioning everything. I don't blame him. He just like me for real. Meanwhile, back at the Kiermans, Caitlyn ends up going to the spot where she and her mom used to hang out when things got tough, and she was straight wildin'. The sun is shining, the birds are singing in the air, and this girl is out here with visions of putting a bullet in Jinx's head. Jace came over to kick it with her, and she was just tweaking, talking about, I want to tear that laugh from her throat forever, and I understand how easy it is to hate them now. Yo! Can we blame her though? She couldn't even take a damn shower without Jinx popping out like the boogeyman. I'd want her gone too. Back to Vi. After her little talk with Caitlyn, she left and ran into this drunk enforcer named Loris. And they were kicking it for a bit. And then we see this other enforcer come in with, y'all gonna have to hear me out on this one. No, not on him. Her. He was chill though. I rock with him. The enforcer over here, whose name is Maddie, was glazing the hell out of Vi, saying that she was glad she was joining up with the enforcers. And oh, Caitlyn told me so much about you, yada 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 yada. She just had to accept the dap and move on. But later that day is when it starts getting crazy. Everyone is here at the memorial event for their fallen comrades, when this mysterious figure with the cover over their head starts making their way towards the crowd. I'd be pressed if I had to be standing behind this. Can't see shit over that box. And while Mel is making her big speech, Vi, the ever observant, notices a guy with a tattoo, and I swear, it's always a tattoo that ends up blowing your cover. She goes over to stop him, but she ends up getting stopped herself, and the man makes his way towards the stage. Piltover security got that 2024 Minnesota Timberwolves defense. You are just recovering from a terrorist attack and you didn't up your security. Not one person in sight as he makes his way up the stairs, blick in hand. This was nasty. Bro pistol whipped the fuck out of Mel. And then the person with the covering whips out the 3-pronged chainsaw and starts slinging that shit all over. And I thought it was over for Mel, but then he points the gun towards the sky and lets out a flare. And he's like, ain't none of y'all safe now. And right he was. Chainsaw Woman, who turns out to be Rennie, was going absolutely bonkers. Ate that shot, weave the next, then remove this poor guy's intestines. Jace's dumbass was over here covering his eyes like, bro, what are you doing? This is your op. Fight back. She does that to the next dude as well, and then starts looking at Jace, and he was like, oh, nah. This is how niggas be when you uphold. He can't act like he was innocent either. Y'all saw the way he blinked her son. Don't know how the hell he survived this fall though. 2 fell from a good 6 stories. After that, the spin back was mandatory. That we see they ain't alone, as these niggas then proceed to pull up 6 deep through the windows and immediately get active. They was going crazy too, romping and stomping everywhere. But hey, we gotta talk about this teamwork from Caitlyn and Vi. Caitlyn hits the weave and go combo on the droid over here. Then after Vi manages to escape from this one, she runs around the corner and gets choked out of nowhere. And look at the way Vi was moving. Niggas turned into LeBron the second their girl in trouble. No weapon, no nothing, just straight grit and adrenaline. She brute forced the droid to the ground. That's crazy. And she starts getting cuts, and Caitlyn clutches with the shot, and Vi's able to get the job done. Good shit. The two enforcers from earlier are trying to help the counselors escape, and they was getting no help. Maddie was hanging on for dear life, and homeboy over here had to come and save her, and he had to run for his life until he got saved from the drunk enforcer from earlier. And damn, that boy Loris got strength, and Caitlyn came to help too. Jace was going crazy. I was not familiar with his game. He used the railing to defend himself and managed to prevent this imminent decapitation with this mean elbow check. They ripped out one of her nostrils. Now she mad. Got Jace moving the same way Gohan was against Boo. He thinks we can't see him. Almost got put on a t-shirt right here too. Dude saw this Party City ass hammer, picked it up, and got straight to work. Pulled up from behind and rocked her shit. And he was feeling himself too, until she got right back up.
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet, nigga.
He knew it was raps. He ends up getting clipped from behind, and we know it's over. She was out for vengeance for her son. This would have been a top tier get back too, had this nigga groveling on the floor. But luckily, Vi comes in with that hammer blicky, whatever thingy, and I'm still amazed that they managed to put a blaster on a hammer. Jace was on some straight crack when he came up with this, bro. While Vi is saving Jace, this big ass droid, I know it's called the Chem Tank, but droid sounds cool to me, starts making its way towards the enforcers. And look at this, no fear in this woman's eyes. She just ups it and starts firing. And these two right here, bro. You have LeBron and D-Wade, Goku and Vegeta, and then you got people like Jace and Vi. Worst duo since KSI and Trippy Red on think of it. 100 overall team chemistry, 40 overall stats everywhere else. Every time they work together, they somehow make things worse. Use the power of friendship to charge this attack and still missed. But best believe, when there's an innocent child involved, Jason's always gonna hit his mark. But let's not fret, cause some real ones about to save the day. More of these weapons fly in and take out the entire squad. And that's when we see Ambessa and them Noxians pull up. And damn, these niggas got sauce. Y'all know Caitlyn was on her clan shit after that attack.
What kind of animals?
Yeah, after I heard that, I knew it was raps. I don't even think I've seen a faster switch up than this. Homegirl got straight to work using that key, and with all her family's knowledge in her hands, she formed a plan. While the counselors were having a secret meeting in a bunker, she pulled up uninvited. Nigga Salo said something, this is a closed council meeting? Who invited? Shut your bitch ass up, nigga. She said address me with respect or keep your mouth shut. I was like, okay, I see you. She tells them her plan of leading a strike team into Zaun with 3 objectives. Find Jinx, dismantle Shimmer, and get rid of any Silco remnants. And I was all like, weren't you against this in the first place? She was speaking the good word to Ekko back in season 1. We need to end the cycle of violence. And now we're doing this? Alright, bro. But hey, at least Maddie looking tough. That's all I care about. But y'all are not going to believe this. Vi, who literally said like 48 hours ago that she wasn't going to join, ends up joining. And low key, not even low key, high key, repping Vander's gauntlets while wearing the ops uniform gotta be some sort of blasphemy. But wearing the same uniform as the people who gunned down your entire family? That is a form of blasphemy, bro. But honestly, I can understand this more than I can understand Caitlyn using hex tech, so we're just gonna let it slide. While this is all going on, we finally catch up with Jinx, and she is going through it now that Silco is gone. And she's not alone. The entire underworld is in disarray as everyone is trying to fill the void that Silco left. And we all know that ain't happening. He was 101. That nigga. Nobody can replace that. And Jinx was over here just chilling until we see this little ass girl getting chased down by these men. She low-key moving though. She ends up falling on Jinx. And then these goons walk up, see Jinx is right there, and immediately falter. And that's all she wrote. 3-piece combo and all of them dead. She was over here trolling too, pointing a gun at this little sweet girl talking about some pow. Leave her alone, man. But she got her intrigued, so she ends up following Jinx. And we see this meeting of the 3 Chem Barons with Savika, that's how you say her, and then their turf wars. Because, you know, they need an ally against Piltover. These two aren't really having it, but Smeech, the ugly rat bastard, says that they should focus on capturing Jinx instead. And she went back to the room pissed because nobody was listening to her and she couldn't fix her arm. And I don't know what it is with this unhinged woman and making these entrances, but somehow she's already in the office chilling. Speaker was about to get active, but they actually end up bonding over the fact that Silco was always using them for their dirty work. A complete 180, especially considering that Jinx hung her up like a prop in that same room. Jinx then leaves and we see she's getting followed. We'll get back on that later. Back to Jace, we see that Viktor has finally woken up, and man, he has changed. And he actually ends up leaving Jace because he broke his promise of not destroying the hex core. But he's not alone for long. Ekko and the professor end up in his lab because they found this weird pattern in Ekko's tree. and apparently it matches the same corruption that they tested on the plants in the lab.
Ekko's home is a marvelous place, truly a wonder. You should see what...
Nah, the snitching is crazy. Back to Jinx, she's over here gloating over her new work, just chilling in her crib when she gets gassed, and we see the Fab Five pull up. And Jinx could not believe what she was seeing. Her sister Vi in an enforcer's uniform. I would have tweaked out as well. Caitlyn was moving wild too. Jesus, that gas got him moving different. Jinx couldn't catch a break either. She just came off, almost getting captured, breaking down, still gasping for air, just to turn the corner and catch this diabolical ass clothesline. Smacked the blaster out her hand and pinned her up against the wall. And look who's here. The Rat. Ugly ass dude puts me off every time I see him. He was talking hella crazy too until he heard that Jinx was the one that killed Silco, and then she was saying how everyone close to her gets killed, and this man backed off. 3 of your men are on her and you still scared. They're about to knock her out when Viktor comes in with the save. Jinx lobs over the new package she was carrying. Turns out it was a present for her. And she hits this behind the back double pump to the lackey before going crazy. She was moving like Akashi from Kuroko no Basket. Couldn't even catch her off the slip. With all these pitful attempts, no problem. Isha threw the pump fake with the bomb. They finished the job. Nobody do it like her, man. Now, it's Savika's turn. She goes up against the Rat Boy, dodges all this. Then we see that her new arm uses a slot machine to preset her next attack. This shit was working too. This dumbass rat was out here getting his shit rocked by a woman who had this arm by less than 2 minutes. She was lighting bro up, used the gas as the diversion, rocked his shit, then hit the jackpot. And we didn't even see the impact. That's how dirty he was done. Had green all over the place. Now, you fine folk are probably all wondering, where in the world did Viktor end up going? He ends up going back home to the Undercity, and we see dude got that robe and he started moving like Jesus. He was healing people with his new powers and even got his girl back. And while Viktor's over here moving like Jesus, Queen Vaughn over here was moving through the streets of Zaun like World War I Germany. Because thanks to the Clansman key, she was able to learn that the Undercity's vent system had stores of suffocating gas that was called the Great. This squad was on demon time, and man, they were beating up anyone they could find, and they actually ended up basically wiping out all the Chem Barons. And to think that Vi actually went along with this is crazy. Doing your city the exact same way you were done as a child is straight lunacy. They lucky Ekko wasn't here to see this. He would have set them straight. They walk through this tunnel and they end up finding up this man tied up, smoking up that gas. And they save him, but as they do, these doll versions of themselves come hanging down on them. A message from Jinx. But Caitlyn does not care. She ups the blunderbuss on this poor sick individual and starts saying some, "Where's Jinx?" And even after he told him the info, he still decided to put homeboy in the cell. I had to talk to her for a bit and she was like, "Hey, not gonna lie, 1, you tweaking, stop that. And 2, we gotta cut the others loose," cause she knew good and well from the bottom of her heart that these niggas were not built for Jinx. And that's all she had to say. Caitlyn listened, maybe a bit too well. Dropping the gloves in the middle of a sewer, it's kinda crazy. And right now, there's a whole lot going on. Jace, Ekko, and the Professor trying to figure out the tree mystery. Vi and Caitlyn are hunting Jinx, and Ambessa got jumped in her own crib by the Black Rose. And yeah, she and Rictus obviously got that shit done. And she's busy over here making plans. And Mel is spying on her, trying to figure him out. So yeah, a lot. Y'all know how Jinx rolls. She ends up making the first move. Caitlyn heard that voice and upped that shit, waiting for the opportunity. No warning needed. Jinx was calling out Vi for how she was rolling with the enforcers. The fact that she was with them is enough to get mad at alone. And when the mentally unstable demon girl who contributed to Piltover's 9/11 is making more sense than you, then you got some stuff to think about. But Vi is done with all that. She won't let Jinx tarnish her sister's name any longer. Man, Caitlyn saw the shadow and didn't waste any time. This shit wasn't even real. And Jinx was talking crazy. She said, "Hey, that's your girl, right? Hope you got the chance to tell her that you love her before, you know." Damn, came in with a cold entrance too. She never misses with these men. She was on go as well. Hopped down and started letting that shit bang. But Vi was ready. Peeped the clean kick up. Ended up blocking all that. That punch block was clean too. Then pulled up, smacked that shit out of her hands. Then while she was still firing, caught it mid-release, then ripped it apart while it was still in her hands. They said, "Aight then." While they're facing off, Jace, Ekko, and the Professor are at the Hex Vault thingy. And then this buffoon Jace always full of bad ideas, says, you know, let me just touch this thing real quick. I swear, every step forward with this man Jace is another 20 steps back. This ends up messing with the Hex tech, and Kate, who was already getting her shit cooked by Savika, is now even more cooked. And it should have been me, not her. Now Vi's on the ground because she can't get her gauntlets up, and Jinx launches the rocket at point blank range, but she picks herself up in time, saving her and simultaneously Caitlyn. But it ain't gonna be that easy. Jinx caught her in this trap, threw herself the oop, and then fired. But at the same time, Jace's dumbass touched the orb again. Man said some, what have we done? We? Niggas, you speaking French? This is all you. This not only fucks him up in his squad, but Jinx's blast as well. And yo, nothing brings me more joy than watching Ku Klux Klan get her shit worked. I know her hating ass was distraught at the fact that this Undercity garbage was cooking her. Someone get her ass on aim assist, bro. She don't even know what she doing. Pointing up that blunderbuss like it's about to do something. Put that shit down. Jinx was fighting crazy too. She was overpowering Vi with the gauntlets on and still managed to get this fadeaway off before she got tossed. Pulled up with no gear, no gun, no nothing. Just an undying thirst to throw hands. Gotta respect it. The orb's effects are starting to flare up even more. And notice how Caitlyn needs the help of a third party to defeat her opponents. Noticing Jinx and Vi were boxing for real. Jinx came in from up top, landed this lethal knee to the face, and Vi responded by checking her with those big ass gauntlets. And with Savika on the ground, Caitlyn uses this as an opportunity to strike. And thank God for her, because Jinx was beating Vi's ass. Makes Vi airball, puts her on one knee, and then when Vi throws her off, she does it again. Just grabs her and starts beating on her. This is the most sibling fight I've seen. Caitlyn sees the shot and takes it, taking off Jinx's middle finger. And I know she was distraught, not because she lost a finger, but because she lost the finger. Vi then pins her down and she just accepts her fate, saying that she's glad Vi is the one to do it. But Isha, little girl we saw earlier, comes in and saves her. Where in the world did this little girl learn to stick up grown women like this? She was daring Vi to do something too, like, okay, I see you. She was about to fire that too, but Caitlyn had to shut that down. And this woman, Caitlyn, knowing good and well that there is a child right there, was still trying to shoot. She didn't even care that Vi was in the way. Vi, her girl, she shot that shit not once, but twice. Now, we would have had to have some combos after that one. Firing not only at an elementary schooler, but at your own girl? Crazy. Thinking that it's all lost, Savika flips a switch, which ends up blowing these two away, and back up at the top side, this gas ends up exploding all over the place, which actually was Jinx's plan the entire time. And god damn, who in that writing room got beef with Maddie? Generational levels of CTE were just caught with that hit, golly. And nah, after the attack stopped, Kate didn't even go back to check on Vi. Her ass got right back up and started going for Jinx. And even better, she had the audacity to get mad at Vi for blocking her shot. I wouldn't miss. The only person on God's green earth I'm trusting with a shot like that is Steph Wardell Curry, my guy. And on top of that, it was a kid, bro. Chill out. Then she hits Vi with the, I thought you were different, but you're all the same. It's her blood in your veins. Just say the word already, bro. Damn. And the gut punch as well. Ain't that your girl? What is wrong with you, bro? I didn't know y'all lesbians were moving like this. This is evil work. But Jinx isn't the only one making big moves after her attack. Shallow meets up with all the great families at the council room. He then gives the floor to Ambessa, and she straight up lies about Amara, the assassin's death. And then we gotta give props to her right here, because her manipulation skills are top tier. She said, hey y'all, you seen what they be doing in the Undercity. You know what they want. They bombed y'all city 3 times, and y'all just gonna let that slide? You guys, we need to fight back. But to do that, we need a leader. Someone to oversee all operations. A general, and me as an advisor. Solo dumbass assumed that he would be the one for the job. Where was bro headed right here? Nigga can't even stand up for himself, and he wanna stand up against the Undercity. Fuck out of here.
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
Nah, we getting a real nigga for the job. Ku Klux Klan. Everyone agrees. And this was a crazy aura lob. Ambessa started beating her chest in salute. Everyone followed her lead. And then Caitlyn locked in, hit the stare down over the entire city while getting her new robes, turned around and hit that shit back. And as a Caitlyn hater, I have to give her props where they're due, because she be tough sometimes. But anyway, my hatred came right back after this scene right here, because we see her chilling in her bed. But Noah, she's just sleeping. What is wrong with that? It ain't even it hasn't even been 2 days since your ass quote unquote broke up with Vi, and now you have moved on with her. This ain't even the first time either. She's a regular guest in her bed chambers. Oh nah, this shit is fucking killing me, bro. She does not rock with this girl in the slightest. This is evil work, dude. Caitlyn knows good and well where her home is, and it is not and it is not with her. Maggie doesn't deserve this, man. She deserves to be someone who loves her and respect her. Someone like me. On the other side, Jinx and Isha are over here having fun. You know, they were playing Stag Beagle boxing, and Isha won, so Jinx kept her little promise and gave her the hairdo. Nice of her to be giving that sister experience that she never fully got. And Ambessa's over here experimenting on people, and this poor disheveled fellow got turned into a Dragon of the Darkness flame victim after one taste of the orb. Then later, her number one man, Rictus, was patrolling the streets, caught this dude wearing the Jinx cut, and choked him out. Niggas can't even wear blue anymore. But just then, we see someone who looks like Jinx pull up. And I was like, damn, this really hurt. Only she could pull up with this much fanfare and aura. But nah, it was actually Isha, cosplaying as her. She is so damn tough, bro. When I was her age, I was playing with Hot Wheels and whatever, and she out here helping inspire revolution. Caused a big mess too. She gets away, goes back home. Savika is there as well, trying to convince Jinx to pull up at the rally at Vander's statue. Jinx doesn't really feel like going. Like, really. Being the leader of a revolution, it just isn't her style. And I guess it was for good reason. Cause when they pulled up to the rally, they ended up getting jumped. That nigga Rictus beat the brakes out the dude with the mohawk just for that Addy. Savika was piecing them boys up though with one arm, and Isha little ass was throwing hands too. No words, no problem. She let her fists do the talking. And damn, Rictus, she a little girl, bro. Go easy on her. But yeah, they got jumped. Everyone got arrested. They also end up arresting Singed, the dude who used to work with Silco, and he hasn't been sitting just idly by since his death. He's been working on this huge project, aka this creature right here, making it so when he drops his blood, it'll respond to him. And for the past like 3 or 4 episodes, we've seen him at work, and we're about to see the fruits of his labor later. But anyway, back to Jinx. She's looking for Isha, and we see Savika come in here all banged up, talking about some.
Got jumped in LA by some pussy ass niggas, and they jumped me, nigga. Nobody gave me the faith of a one-on-one, nigga. Nobody gave me the respect of a one-on-one, and I painted that nigga when he was on the ground.
And Jinx is tweaking again, cause they got Isha as well. That's her little sister. But she knows exactly what she has to do. Lil Shaw's getting hauled off to jail, but Singe tells her they won't be there for long. As we see the monster start making his way towards them. Jinx is on the move too. She really ran up on this enforcer, giving herself an entire intro, and the enforcer said she didn't know who she was. Made fun of her pants too.
What's wrong with my pants?
I'd be offended as well. They used the old disguise trick to get inside the prison, then after some searching, they found the prisoners. And Jinx was a bit confused right here because they were all trying to touch her, but it was all respect. She didn't realize the emotion she had until now. They end up finding Lil Shaw, and look how sweet this moment is, man. Pure, unadulterated love. And yay, everything's good, time to go home. But then the monster comes down the elevator and straight up murks everyone. Hey, Jinx not scared though. She ups that shit and starts firing, but even that doesn't work. To find what it's looking for, the monster gotta go through Thumb. So, Jinx tells Savika to get out with Isha and starts getting to work. Props to her, she was really moving against this creature. Hit the fadeaway on this, weaved all of old boy's hits, but eventually, she gets backed into a corner. She's like, hey, you got it, little bro. Then tries blowing herself up. We gotta talk about how Jinx be summoning that grenade the same way that bum Megami summons Maharaga. And that's high-key disrespectful to Jinx, cause unlike Megami, she gets the job done. But as he looks towards Jinx, we start to see that he's losing his anger. And you would not believe it. This monster is actually Vander, or a part of him or something like that. I'll explain that later. But in the aftermath of the attack, Caitlyn and Ambessa pull up, and Kate uses her observation hockey or whatever she got going on here, and they pinpoint Singe as the perpetrator. They bring him back in for questioning, and Caitlyn was on his ass. She said she was gonna put him in a cell so deep he'd never see the light of day again. Ooh, sure me timbers. But he didn't budge. Crazy that the guy strapped to the chair somehow has more control over the situation than everyone knows here. Now that we really think about it, he probably planned all this from the start. He knew those two would pull up and waited for them. But why? They end up leaving, but later Ambessa comes back and Singh knows why. Ambessa wants to use that beast as a weapon, and she says, hey, you're gonna work for me, and you're gonna like it. And he agrees. Later on, we see Singed in the lab working on that shimmer, and Caitlyn straight up tells us that this guy was a renowned alchemist back in the day, and he mysteriously disappeared. That man was Corin Revik, aka Singed, aka the creator of Shimmer, and the beast, which is called Warwick, was a creation of his that used Vander's remains. Caitlyn said his name like a slur, then upped the blunderbuss, just wondering why someone would go to such lengths to commit such atrocities.
Why does anyone commit acts others deem unspeakable? For love.
So he leads them inside the secret room, and we see this girl. This right here is his daughter. She's dead, but he wants to bring her back to life, and that beast may hold the final key. Anyway, it's been a minute since we saw my glorious dark-skinned queen Mel, so let's go check on her. Last time we saw her, she got hit with that Black Rose domain expansion. Now she's in some type of prison. Her brother, whose name is Kino, is there as well. But long story short, her brother was killed, and this one was a fake. And then the Black Rose tells her the reason why she was captured was because she has hidden mage powers inside of her. She heard that shit and locked in. She went Super Saiyan and everything, and that's all we see for now. We'll check up on her again later. Let's go back to Vi. She got dumped and immediately went to the ring. I know this dude Jawline hate to see that girl coming. 0 for 3 against the same woman is crazy. Really lost her girl and turned emo. Can't say I blame her. Her right hook of doom and destruction was putting niggas to sleep left, right, and center. And of course, Jace being Jinx manages to find her. And yeah, Vi was not having it. She almost choked her to death, but Jinx says that she has an info on Vander, so she lets her go, and the two of them plus Isha start making their way towards his location. And Vi still wasn't having it. She was calling Jinx delusional for making her come down here, and Jinx tried to play it off, joking about how she fried her ass in their previous fight, but she was still on BS, saying that she was crazy. So she's like, hey, you want to talk about crazy? How about the fact that not only did you join the same ops who killed our parents, you got dropped off by your girl and by me on the same day, while I've been doing your job being a hero. She said, if you want to go 0 for 2, be my guest. And not one lie was spoken either. But I want to talk about how Jinx wouldn't last a second without all her little knickknacks, acting like she don't turn into Tony Snell without them damn gauntlets on. Jinx had a reminder that she didn't build that shit either. That was some charity work. And y'all know Vi wasn't taking that, so she dropped in gauntlets immediately and said, you think I need those to beat your ass? Nah, that's crazy. Hit that taunt on her too? See, me personally, after getting bitched like that, you just gotta take the L and leave. But Vi ain't like that. She doesn't quit when she's wrong. She just keeps doing the wrong thing until she's right. So she grabs Jinx by the hair. It's always the hair. And they start fighting. And Isha ends up getting in the middle of it too because, that's her sister. And you guys know them little kid bites hurt like hell. But she backhanded the fuck out of that little girl. I mean, I get it and all, but chill. That hit ended up bringing both of them back to their senses. But y'all see it, right? Blood. With the scent in the air, you know who's gonna be there in a minute. The trio continues their search and they come to this abandoned building. And in this building, they find a message from Vander to Silco. And he was trying to get in contact with him to end this whole mess. It really makes you think because if he found that message, everything might have been different. But we don't want to put all the blame on that. This is one of them shows where you can basically go to any point in time and be like, that fat ass ain't eat that sandwich. Everything might have been different. You just gotta take it with a grain of salt and move on. Anyway, during this discovery, the beast is still making its way towards them until eventually Isha notices and Warwick comes in on demon time. But Vi stopped that shit, threw the beast over, and pulled up with this lethal ass uppercut. Anyone else but this demon and it would have been dropped off. But Warwick keep moving, puts Vi back on the wall, but she retaliates with this nice punch right here. Eventually though, she get pushed back. So he redirects his attention towards Isha, but in doing so, he sees Powder and Jinx, so Warwick starts losing control. But Vi spits up some more blood, which makes him tweak again. Warwick heads towards Vi, but when it looks like she's about to get toasted, she says Vander's name. This leads us into a flashback where young Vander and Silco are chilling at a bar. And they aren't alone. This pretty lady is here as well, Powder and Vi's mom. And right now, she's telling the news of her pregnancy to these two. And she's scared of being a mom because she doesn't believe she's ready. And she can't protect them from everything that goes on down here. So she wants these two to figure out this Zaun thing out. And she says it don't matter if they have to cover it out of bedrock, covered in blisters. And yeah, they toast to that. This leads us back to Jinx, who's looking for Vi and Vander. And she finds those two in each other's arms. And man, this was so beautiful to see. Vi letting her in. Isha was in there too. This was nice, man. Meanwhile, back at the Hex It, we see a mysterious figure standing before it. Then we see Jace emerge from it as well. He is looking way different from the last time we saw him. Full grown beard and everything. The hooded figure is surprisingly sallow. And wait a minute, Solo walking on 2 feet? Something ain't right. He starts saying that he got healed by Viktor, and the two finally talk for the first time in a minute. Viktor wants to show Jace his newest works, but Jace isn't with that anymore. He wants to end Hextech, which is a complete 180. He or Solo tries to leave, and Jace says, nuh-uh. Solo's like, damn, that's crazy. Keeps walking, and this nigga Jace hits the
"Cause you schizophrenic, you think you crazy, I'm crazy too, nigga."
Alright then, I was not familiar with his game. We're gonna see more of him later. Back at Caitlyn's camp, she's getting in that work with Ambessa. And y'all know I'm not gonna pass up a chance of watching K-Del Castro get cooked. Check this out, I'll give her props. She was moving pretty well, but this is the funny part. She goes in for them toes, air balls, gets her weapon broken, and now she's beaten. But she got that Vi mindset as well. All that IQ, and her ass thought she could get the sneak on a Noxian warrior. And Ambessa knew that shit was coke butter cheese too. Peep the smile, spin move into the weave, knocks that shit out her arms. Bro realized she wasn't built for this. Rocks her shit, 2-piece combo, then throws her over the shoulder like some garbage onto the floor. I need more of this. Ambessa boxing and Caitlyn getting cooked. Oh yeah, all this had a point. They were talking about like Noxian fighting principles or whatever. Honestly, it's cool, whatever, man. Like, I'm just gonna skip it. Back to Vi in the game. And look at this. Huck, the same traitorous bum who sold him out back in season 1, gave his life to Arcane Jesus and got his hairline back. Nah. Bro said, I would like you guys to surrender your weapons. This is a place of Jace up that blaster so fast. I would have too. Fuck that piece shit. You sold Vi out. But Vi just goes in and they follow. And we see the inside and everything is nice, calm, beautiful. Eventually they get led to Viktor and he tries using his powers on Vander, but it doesn't work because Vander's psyche and the beasts are so intertwined that it's gonna take a lot of work to get it undone. Jace really called him a middle fortune cookie. She ain't wrong either. And I guess he ain't really like that because he called Jinx by her real name, Powder, and he said that shit like a slur too. The only condition that he has is that Vander has to be restrained at night, so they start working on that. You know, they're chilling, and even Vi is saying that they should stay, but peace and quiet in this here show? Yeah, nah. Ambessa and company have already pulled up. Respect to Huck though, he stood on 10 toes, got a new hairline, now he moving different. Singed ends up going in alone trying to sell Viktor a deal, but he isn't buying it. Even with his newfound status, you could tell he still has disdain for this man. He's still not over that poor thingy. So Singed says, alright then, but just know, if you die, your community is soon to follow. Would be a shame if you just happen to do so. Toodaloo. As he leaves, Detective Vi over here spots him and is now on the case. But her ass is not Scooby-Doo, because while she's following him, Kate ends up sliding in and hits her with the same combo that she got hit with earlier in the episode. Her ass got the Sharingan or something. That shit was clean. And at Ambessa's headquarters, she's conversing with Singed. Damn, her ass eating that shit raw off the bone. That's crazy. She can eat my meat raw off the bone as well. Singed is telling her about Viktor's plans, saying that if they don't stop him from healing Vander, he will be of no use to them. She says, bet, will just force his hand. Then Caitlyn comes in with Vi, and Vi spits on Caitlyn's face in anger. Okay. Singed readies up his serum, and they move out, leaving Ambessa with Vi. Ambessa hits her with that, if things were different, we could have worked together. But she knows what type of hold Vi has on Caitlyn, and she just can't let a distraction like her run around. But Vi got other plans. Apparently, the entire time, this was all a setup, getting Ambessa alone and giving Vi the chance to pull off this shot. Don't know how they did it, but they made it happen. Was spitting on her face a part of the plan too? Or is that improv? On Jinx's end, we see that Isha was able to retrieve her weapons, like the ghost she is, and she's got a lock on Caitlyn. But Caitlyn switches sides at the last moment and chokes him out. Caitlyn tries to free Vander, but damn, she got her shit rocked silly. Rictus is a real one, man. Made sure to watch out for the snakes, even if Ambessa didn't know. And he was genuinely disappointed in her too. Unfortunately for him though, Jinx was on that and pulls up on some Yusuke Urameshi timing. He blocked that shit clean as hell though. Then they start going at it and Jinx was moving. Had Rictus giving her a haircut, then goes to the legs and up top for the pull-up jumper. But he on that too. Had Jinx confused, but she keep it pushing, and this was wild. Stiff armed the blade before it could even hit her. Uses it as a platform to go right to him. He tries going for the counter, but Jinx goes downstairs and starts spamming evasives like crazy. Stomped on his staff too. She was just toying with him. But those damn braids, man. What was it that Kendrick said on Euphoria?
What is it, the praise?
I know it's homage to her moms or whatever, but at some point, you gotta have those conversations with yourself, because this is the 5th time that this has been used against her. It was about to be raps right here too, but Vander comes in with the save. Now, we all know that Rictus is built different, no doubt about it, but up against Vander, he was looking like a Chrysler 300 next to a Phantom. Yeah, that shit was barbecue chicken from there. No amount of pilty devil magic is bringing him back from that. But hey, rest in peace to a real one. Jace is here as well, and he was also on timing, or more like off it. He was up in that blaster at anyone. The Arcane had him tweaking. But eventually, this little boy leads him to Viktor. But he didn't come here for no convo. He's here for blood. He blasts that man in his own crib and ends his life. He just leaves after this as well, by the way. This nigga was a hit and run demon on the streets and in the sheets. They was having such a good moment over here as well, man. Nah. But with Viktor dead, his followers followed in suit. But even worse than that, without the help of Viktor's powers, Vander has now lost control and Warwick is back. Singed is crazy. He came in, predicted that this was gonna happen, and just left. And yeah, Warwick was going wild. Somehow, this man Rictus was still alive. And I was like, okay, let him cook. Yeah, alright, never mind. The spin back is crazy. He made sure he was dead. And even worse, Ambessa was watching this as well. She saw Caitlyn, and you could see the pain in her eyes. She was basically the daughter, somewhat, that she never had. She got her out the mud too, made her a general, and on top of that, taught her how to box. I be hurt too. She changed that broke ass nigga life. But yeah, after seeing that, she orders the attack, and they start fighting. Warwick's on a rampage. Everyone's out here throwing hands. Vi was going crazy a little bit too, but eventually she goes down. Jinx tries to calm down Warwick, but it's to no avail. She gets knocked down. And Isha, this brave, amazing little girl, sees the situation and decides to sacrifice herself in order to save Jinx and her new family. Man, we really lost 2 real ones in the same episode. That's insane. Rip Lil Shaw, man. Imagine what she could have been if she lived for 3 or 4 more years. The fact that a primary schooler was putting in more work this season for Zaun than Vi is crazy. R.I.P. Now, the big question right now is, what the hell was Jayce on these past couple episodes? Dude left, came back with a full-grown beard, and fucked up everything. But y'all gotta remember, this is Jayce. He may do dumb shit, but he does that for a reason. So, let's find out. After touching the Arcane, Jayce gets sent to this mysterious place. He looks around, then sees the mage who saved his life all those years ago. He chases after him, but instead of finding the mage, he runs into this humanoid husk, and even scarier, the entirety of Piltover, empty and destroyed. Dude was in literal hell, dragging that big ass hammer trying to find someone, anyone, anything. But all that's left is these humanoid figures. And it gets worse too, because as he was running away from the zombies, the man trips, starts falling, and that damn hammer falls right onto his shit. And he almost face first. I'm sorry, bro. That Charlie Brown ass injury, dude could not catch a single break. Yeah, my boy Jace was going through it. Injured with no way out, he started going crazy. But like I said earlier, this is Jace we're talking about. He ended up making a device that could brace his leg and help him get out of the hole. And he cemented his legacy with this one. He climbed all the way up to the remnants of the Hex Gate on a broken leg. Making his way to the top, he finds a man kneeling next to a hammer. And this is where he realizes that because of Hex Tech, the world ended. But we're going to come back to this later. In the meantime, let's check back in on Ekko. He also got transported to a different timeline. He checked his reflection and knew something wasn't right when he saw that new haircut. Fresh fitted out, got the golden earrings as well. Honestly, I was not sad to see the Killmonger cut go. But even crazier, Powder is here as well, and Ekko was tweaking. For good reason, of course. Last time he saw her, she tried bombing him, but that knife pull might have been a little OD. We ain't gonna forget that he was moving like prime LBJ against his girl. Beat the schizophrenia out of her ass too. If anything, she should be scared of you. They head to the last drop, and we see that everyone who's supposed to be dead is alive. Even in an alternate dimension, Milo is still missing shots on and off the battlefield. Ekko was over here straight tweaking. He saw the professor, stumbled his way out the bar, and threw up. But luckily for him, he is not going crazy. The professor confirms that they have been sent to an alternate reality by the anomaly. Only the professor arrived here 3 years earlier. It's not looking good though. Jace ain't here, and since Hex Tech wasn't invented, that means there's no Hex Gate, which means no anomaly. Damn, they really got no way out. Powder comes out back and tells Ekko she's gonna go see Vi. And it turns out that she is dead. Nah, the only timeline where these niggas find peace is the only one she isn't alive in? That is crazy. And this man, Ekko, I get he was tweaking off the anomaly and shit, but damn, he straight up asked her, was it you? With a straight face. Like they ain't go on that job because of his tip. Granted, it was kind of her fault, but still. And it was so weird seeing Powder all, I don't know, mature. Instead of blowing up on his face over this obvious blasphemy, she instead calmly tells him to leave before she does something she regrets. But that convo made Ekko realize that the reason why there isn't any Hex Tech is because of the explosion that killed Vi. I'm gonna assume Jace was killed as well because 1, that would explain why he didn't get transported here, and 2, without him, Hex Tech doesn't get made. So he ends up going back to the house where the explosion happened and takes the remnants of the exploded Hex Crystal that were still in the wall.
Tampering with the Arcane never ends well, lad. The risk is far too great.
He tells Heimerdinger his plan, and the professor eventually agrees. But first, you gotta patch up things with his girl. Masterclass performance from him right here. I saw that hand motion, and I knew he was going to cook. He starts telling Powder about the dream that he had about how things went another way. And in that dream, Vi was the toughest person he ever knew, wasn't afraid of anything. But Powder says, nah, Vi was strong because she was afraid. The fear of losing them was what made her fight so hard. Jinx was different too. Her ideas in his dream changed the world, and that's the type of person she was to him. Powder was saying that she's not trying to change, but unfortunately for her, Ekko was in his bag. He spits one of his toughest quotes right here saying, sometimes taking a leap forward means leaving a few things behind. And this breaks the tension between them, and Ekko finally tells Powder his plan. They start cooking up a contraption that can help recreate the anomaly, and these two are watching each other the entire time. At first, they tried, and they failed. But eventually, after a few more tries, they finally created a black man, a yordle, and a bar girl. We made the anomaly in a basement. That's crazy. The big question is though, what does it do? Ekko starts yanking it, and each time that he does, Jinx and Heimerdinger start repeating the same phrases and actions, meaning that this is a time loop. So they start testing how far it can go. And after they made it past 4, Heimerdinger explodes. Nigga says what were the indicators? You not see your floof on his face? Come on, man. Ekko wants to stay and finish working on it, but he and Powder still got that party to attend. He really tried ducking the party, but the professor said, what's the point of having a device like this if you don't enjoy the time you have? AKA, go get your girl, nigga. And seeing Ekko finally being able to be around the people he's missed for so long was nice to see. And low-key, when I saw Sigil pull up, I was surprised too. I might have PTSD. I thought he was really gonna do something. Ekko was confused too. He said, didn't you all try to kill each other?
Greatest thing we can do in life is find the power to forgive.
He isn't even phased at this point. And speaking of which, it is now time for the main event. Jace makes another one of her entrances. And this moment right here is easily my favorite in the show. I have, and I never will, listen to French rap again, but the music right here, it was hidden. And they were hitting this shit too. I can't show too much, but just y'all know, they were completely in sync. Powder was asking where you learned to move like that, and he said, I was just following your lead. Banger. Ekko gave her a nice little present too, a little spinning charm with both their faces on it. Snow Bunny mind control is real. This is the second nigga I've seen to traverse a whole nother universe in hope of saving their milk. But as she's gazing at it, the professor and Ekko are ready to go back home. Jace is on his way home as well. The hooded figure let him take that hammer that he was kneeling by and send him back as well. But as Heimerdinger and Ekko are ready to leave, the anomaly starts glitching. So after telling Ekko that ever since he met him, he has truly lived, Heimerdinger goes over to turn off the power, connects the cable, and he's gone. Damn, just like that. Rest in peace to another GOAT. And you gotta give props to Ekko. Dude was in his ideal dream world. Everyone he loved was still alive. The girl of his dreams was there, and he still walked away from it to head back and save everyone. That's why he's the GOAT. And I guess now that we've seen what Jace went through, we can't really be mad at what he did. Cause after all that, I would have crashed out too. On other fronts, Mel is fully inducted into the sorceress cult, with her objective being to stop Ambessa. And Ambessa makes a deal with Viktor, who was saved by Singe by the way, to empower her troops, and in turn, she's gonna take them to the Hex Gates. Over in Caitlyn's quarters, she and Maddie were planning for the upcoming battle when Vi comes in. And this is low-key a crazy situation with Caitlyn, Sneaky Link, and your main girl both in the same room. I pray I never get put in a situation like this. Bro told Maddie to leave the room. I know she was pissed. She thinks she a starter, but in reality, she's sitting on the bench. Vi and Caitlyn are over here arguing about having Jinx in prison because they were both playing it safe, not trusting each other. And when Vi says Jinx has changed, Caitlyn responds with one of her most contradicting lines in the show, saying we cannot erase our mistakes? Hello? Right message, wrong messenger. We really gonna act like Adolf Hitler over here didn't give half of Zaun permanent lung damage in one night? Seriously? Now she's pulling that we can't erase the past card? I would have walked out too. Caitlyn ends up going to Jinx. And man, this was sad. Jinx was really in the corner, huddled up. She wasn't eating her meals, hair unbraided. And it's understandable because Isha was really the first person in forever that truly loved and cared about her and wasn't trying to use her for anything. She's heartbroken. Later, Mel finally makes it to the council room and she meets Jace for the first time in forever. They was chatting it up when Viktor ends up coming in trying to bargain with the both of them. But Jace knows the future. He's not going to let this happen. Then he speed blitzes Mel and she uses her mage powers for the first time, but it wasn't shit against Viktor. Man's ate that hammer blast too. Jace tells him that he needs to stay away from the gates, but he got bitched right here. Viktor presses X with a sidestep, then flicks the nigga the same way your mom flicks the keyboard at the cash register. Nigga was hitting acrobatics on his ass too. Bro has never moved like this, not one day in his life. But right when it looks like they're about to be cooked, they lock in and hit this clean tag team attack and finish him off. Later that day after the battle, Jace once again makes his way towards the council room.
Quiet!
Who is he telling to quiet down? Nobody was talking. He tells all the great families what's going on. Piltover needs help in the upcoming war, and they must all come together and make a last stand at the Hex Gates, because if Viktor reaches it, it's all over. With that being said, Piltover ends its occupation of Zaun, and the evacuations start taking place all over the city, and people enlist to join the fight, including my beautiful brown-skinned queen Gert. She is so bad. Meanwhile, back in prison, Jinx has Silco popping up in her hallucinations. Even from the grave, he is still spitting. He said that killing is a cycle, and the only way to break it is to walk away. Then Vi comes in, and she's trying to convince Jinx that she can change her story, and that she can use her potential for good and help Piltover against Ambessa. And she's like, sure. Gut punches her, locks Vi inside, and dips, saying that she's gonna go break the cycle down. Caitlyn ends up unlocking it for her because she actually knew this was gonna happen and that Vi would come here. And speaking of which, they low-key started going crazy in there. Caitlyn not even in combat, and she's still selling the bag. She admits that she saw someone while they were separated, but Vi does not care. And low-key, when you really think about it, is getting down and dirty in the depths of Piltover's prison not crazy? Not only that, the same cell your sister was just having a mental breakdown in, it's questionable. We got more footage of Vi getting busy than her throwing hands this season. That's crazy. Apparently, this was also the uncut version too, and there was more footage. In the words of Anthony Edwards, send the video. In Ambessa's camp, things are starting to heat up as well. Mel goes over trying to reconcile and make her reconsider, but she's not going for it. Instead, she shows Mel her army of undead robots that were created by imbuing Warwick's blood into Viktor's spear. This also ended up erasing the last of Vander's humanity and memories. And yeah, long story short, it's over. Last time we saw Jinx, she left Vi telling her she was about to go end the cycle, believing that the only way to end it was by ending herself. She pours gasoline over the last drop, then sets it ablaze, then tries to blow herself up, but Ekko stops her. 5 times. That's how many times he saved her in this moment alone. 5. And he ends up talking her out of it. That's why he's the GOAT. But finally, the day is here. The day to end all days. The fight to end all fights. Light versus L. LeBron versus Curry. Epo versus Sendo. Piltover versus the Noxians and Arcane Jesus. And let me tell y'all, them Piltover boys got fried. It makes sense. The Noxians are built for war, but like this, let me break it down real quick. We start off by seeing Vi carrying this soldier with the safety, and it turns out to be Gertz. No, man, why did they have to take Gert, man? They could have took Caitlyn Kierman. And it's not looking good outside either. Ambessa was on demon time, and she pulled up to the front lines and broke through by herself. Caitlyn tried going for that 300, but not only did she make that bully graze her, it didn't even put her on one knee. This is where I realized that it was over. If I was playing Fortnite and I saw a nigga eat my bolt action sniper rifle from 200 meters, I would quickly call it quits. But she just keeps firing until eventually someone bombs her post. Best believe I was celebrating. But it's not over yet. Ambessa brings out her big guns and Caitlyn is still alive. No! Viktor has now arrived. But luckily, Jace is shutting down the Hex Gates, so it should be all good. Piltover's forces are doing their best to hold down the line, but it's not enough. The Noxians break through and start beating that ass, and even worse, they got Lawrence too, no! With only a few fighters left, the rest of Piltover's forces, led by Caitlyn, decide to use gas to disclose their next attack. A bomb with Viktor's name all over it. Caitlyn was going crazy. Peep the spin cycle right here into the shot. I know her ass wasn't moving like this before. Ambessa blocks, sits his ass down, hits the rollover, uses her op as a shield, and fires. Goes 3-4-3. And her homeboy managed to get the detonator on just in time. But as they're waiting for a big bang, it doesn't happen. Someone tampered with it. Let's go back and look at the tape. Who was the one in charge of it? Nah, is that a smile I see? She set them up. Caitlyn then gets knocked out, and when she wakes up, her entire squad is ready for execution. She saw Ambessa walk up those stairs and knew it was over. And nah, guess who was going to be her executioner? Maddie. She hit the salute close as hell too. Caitlyn was distraught. Took a nice deep breath after that too. Ambessa knew she cooked. That set Caitlyn off, so she tried getting the sneak on Maddie dumbass, reloaded it, and tried to one-up Ambessa. But like I said earlier, she need to put the gun down. They ain't doing shit. Up until this point, this was a generational hate watch. Seeing Kim Jong Kiraman get cooked by the same sneaky link that she thought was harmless was a feast for my eyes. Straight masterclass. I had to pause and enjoy the moment. Maddie wanted that get back too. As really said something, the head was fire in it or some shit. I don't speak Irish. And then when she shot, peep the smile. You know how much hate you have to have in your heart to do something like this? It was cold as hell too. But let me tell y'all, that Kiraman double magic is on the level of Patrick Mahomes. I have genuinely never seen a bigger save like this. I low-key liked Maddie too. She was kind of cute, had a little Irish accent. You know, rest in peace to her. I know she's looking up at us right now. Mel walks in, and this was tough for real. She was trying to broker peace, but Ambessa and peace are like oil and water. But hey, y'all notice something? It's quiet. A bit. Too quiet. And it ain't an episode of Arcane if Jinx ain't making a big entrance. You know how crazy it is to pull up in the middle of a battle blasting music? Who doing it like her? And she looking good, like actually nice and healthy. That Ekko effect. This is how Frieza used to look at any Saiyan that crossed his way. Calm down, man. She's here for y'all. And Ekko's here too. They start doing anything to impress the hoes. He had no business moving like this. He and his gang were getting in that work, along with a lot of Zaun's residents. He single-handedly two-pieced this giant to his feet, then went to join Jinx. Jinx was getting busy too. Saw Vi was pinned down and started airing the entire place out. She and Ekko were moving in sync. Savika was going crazy. Mel was on D. And even the pianist was getting involved. This guy was trying to stop the gun from firing, but Vi hit him with this devious ass combo and had his ass with Jesus before the shot even fired. That shot ended up piercing what was supposed to be Viktor's spear, but he isn't there. And even worse, he's already made it to the Hex Gates, and he looking different too. Remind me of that one dude from Naruto. With this, Warwick and the robots start their attack. Mel was trying to get her point through to her mom, trying to show her the price of her ambition. And I was laughing right here. She saw Caitlyn pulling up from behind and smiled. She knew she wasn't shit. Really interrupted their combo with this weak ass hook too. Kicked up the weapon towards her as well. Is she on something? And nah, her ass hit the speed face when she saw Caitlyn wanted to run the woods. You gotta be kidding me. Just put the weapon down, man. It is already over. The mental battle has already been won. Even Caitlyn doesn't believe what she has just done. Off rip, and we already got that Kiraman double magic coming in clutch. Caitlyn gotta have Satan herself on her shoulder, cause no way she getting lucky like this. Mel couldn't save her here though. One kick and she's already faltering. She on 20 HP and one good hit away from those red flashing lights. This ain't your fight, bro. Nah, it's time for Mel to cook. She had to unveil the new threads. We see the fit, bro, don't worry. Mel starts off going down low with her magic, but Ambessa blocks that. Then when that little Kiraman tries hopping in, Ambessa simultaneously blocks her and Mel's attack. Then, oh nah, run that shit back. Let's hit an instant replay. Caitlyn really knew she was cooked from the get-go. Hits the feint, spins back over for the part 2, and hit her so hard that not only had to put the impact frame, but she flipped over. We're trying to hit the pose over her too. Oh nah. Mel then goes in for the 1-2 combo that Ambessa blocks. Then somehow Caitlyn retaliates from below, but no butter knife is gonna have Ambessa down. She says, weave, sit your ass down. And check this out. You can tell that she's somewhat going easy on her daughter, at least by her standards, cause peep gang, she blocks these two. grabs her hair, and gives Mel this little love tap. But then when Caitlyn comes back in, she gets on demon type, lets her pass through, takes out her ACL, backhands her so goddamn hard that they have the blood showing on the screen, grabs her the same way she did to Mel, and instead of a blood tap, she comes down with that headbutt of doom and destruction. African niggas got some of the hardest domes of the 7 seas. If her ass don't have CT already, then I know she has it now. God damn. Ambessa was washing these two, bro. Had both of them on their knees, walked up cold as hell on Caitlyn, just waiting for her to make the mistake of throwing an attack. No expression when she did this too. Just caught, parried, and reversed the situation, and it finally looks like it's over. Even Mel's magic couldn't save her. But Caitlyn then made the slightly smart play of breaking off those stones so she couldn't use them to defend herself from Mel's magic. But even so, Ambessa don't need any stone to whoop that ass. She had to take the mask off after that one and said, hey bro, you had a good run. Not a great one, but good nonetheless. But apparently this was a part of their plan, as Mel was able to hit the Black Rose domain expansion, and the sorceress, who was over here doing some freaky shenanigans, is trying to kill Ambessa when Mel forces her way into the domain and destroys it from the inside out. Damn, she gets tough. Made Ambessa realize that Mel was the one all along, the wolf. Hey, at least she got to go out against her daughter. If Caitlyn got that W, I would have been heated. Now, back to the main trio. With the robots now on the loose, Vi escapes on Ekko's surfboard, then comes in with a one-hand slam to get Warwick off of Jinx. Ekko then takes control of the ship, but he's not able to stop it from crashing, which is honestly a good thing, because Vi was out here getting choked for the 50th time this season, and I didn't realize it at the time, but he actually did this intentionally. Meanwhile, Viktor's explaining his true master plan to Jace, the glorious evolution, aka everyone combined into a single hive mind, removing their free will. Boo! And Jace obviously said, hell nah. But Viktor literally waves his hand and the hex gates come back to life. Yeah, it is over. Vi and Jinx finally wake up from the crash, and Jinx does a little callback from season 1 telling her that she's always with Vi even when their worlds apart. So sweet. But then we see Warwick posted up on the top of the plane. Who is he feeling like? Posing up like Batman over your own daughters. Chill. He was ready too. Hits the Sonito, and Vi's reaction time is crazy. She was able to block this in real time, but she ends up getting choked again. And this time that machine gun was of no use. This is when Viktor starts going through the tower, and we see Jace is getting cooked too. But peep this, I don't know where you learned to weave like this, but damn, that was tough. Vi and Jinx were working too. Jinx was pulling out all the stunts. She was on X Games mode, rolled the machine gun, kicked the rocket blaster for the shot, and when she got caught by Warwick, Vi came in for the save. But it is already over. Viktor makes it to the top, sends the anomaly upwards, and now everyone is under his control. Jinx almost weaved it though. Both her and Vi eventually got caught as well. That nigga Jace knew it was raps. He could do nothing but accept his fate. But you know who wasn't under control? My GOAT. Feast your eyes on this generational performance right here. On his hoverboard, he goes through the entire army, hits these 4 with a devious ass combo, then hits these 3 off rip, then slams this buffoon on the floor. He's home free. He goes in for the kill, but he gets stuck. Oh nah, but this is Ekko we talking about. He hits that reverse and slides in, saying something.
Okay, I understand it now.
Rode these bots like a wave, then hits the 1, 2 off the surfboard, reverse, and we're good to go. But then he trips up, and now he's trapped. He tries reversing, but the 4 seconds aren't enough to save him. This is probably one of the greatest I'm him moments of all time. Cause this nigga, while being on the verge of collapse, sets the Z drive way past its 4-second limit, and with one left hand, pulls the lever and travels back in time. Then game on the line, 2 seconds left on the clock. He pulls off for the mid-range and hits the game winner straight in Viktor's face. Now you split open with this attack. Jace, who is in Viktor's dreamscape, is finally freed, and this is where we realize that the hooded mage man was actually Viktor from another timeline that traveled across time and space to many universes in order to find a way to save Jace's life. And throughout all timelines, Jace was the only one to show Viktor the truth, saying that there's no prize to perfection, only an end to pursuit. Viktor was mortified when he found this out, and he told Jace to leave, but he's like, nah, we finished this together. And he and Viktor disappear inside it, never to be seen again. Now that they're free, Vi, Warwick, and Jinx are all on separate ledges. The one those two are on is unstable, so Jinx tells Vi to jump, but she just can't leave Vander, even if it isn't him anymore. Warwick was crashing out on the platform, but Powder comes in Derrick Henry style with the truck, just barely being able to catch Vi's hand. At this point, nobody's going to survive if she keeps holding on, so Powder makes the decision to take one for the team, sacrificing herself in order to save Vi. And as she's falling, she takes one last look at Vander and blows herself up. Damn, I felt bad for Vi. Every time it seems like she has Powder back, she is just out of her reach. Felt bad for Ekko too. Imagine putting up one of the greatest side character performances of all time and you still lose everything. And what pisses me off the most is the fact that this clan member got off Mr. Miracle scot-free. No jail time, no probation, no trial, not even a slap on the wrist. Just a little, I'm the dirt under your nails, cupcake. And this stupid ass expression, and she's gone. Not even an apology or a shed of remorse. How the fuck does the second coming of Mussolini get off the hook like this without the slightest of repercussions? She was hunting down Zaun civilians like she was the Terminator, and now she gets to live life? She didn't even do shit in the final battle either. Got her shit cooked and had to let my glorious queen Mel save the day. Fuck her, fuck the entire Kierman dynasty, and fuck Piltover. When you high-key think about it, fuck Vi too. She was over here chilling with this Satanist, acting like she ain't blow down your entire sector. That doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of her abysmal performance this season. Cheated on your ass too, and you want to talk about some finger metaphor. Fuck out of here, man. Anyway,